All right, buckle up. We got a rich one today. The classic. No one's having kids. It's wonderful. What is Disney World gonna do? Let's get serious here. This one was sent in on Instagram from my main channel. If you're new here, welcome. This dude goes, "Hey Jack, big fan. I was watching your video from a couple of days ago talking about how nobody is having kids. He goes, I thought to look up school closures and saw an article from January in Education Weekly. I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently schools are closing in masses across the country. Although I don't hear about it on the news, kind of feels like the movie Children of Men. Never seen that. Might make an interesting deep dive for a video." Okay, cool. School is now in session. Oh, shit. Well, first of all, let's be realistic here. Who could afford any of this shit anymore? So that makes sense. Let's really unpack this, shall we? Okay? Everybody ready? Guys in the back? One, men don't trust women and women don't trust men. So that's perfect. So that right there alone already makes it like most people are just, I'm not having kids. And then a lot of people, this is kind of programmed onto us. Tell me if I'm tripping. But growing up, it's kind of like, I'm in my mid-30s, so basically everybody when in my 20s was like, oh, I'm going to wait till I'm like 30 to have a kid. But then by the time you turn 30, you're like, oh, I still don't have it figured out. And then men, I guess we have a lot longer than women, but eventually a lot of people, basically half of my friends in my age group don't have kids. The other half do have kids. But more people that I know don't have kids than people that I do know with kids. I know. So let's think about this on a bigger level too. If less and less people keep having kids, and I know a lot of people are having children, but most of these people, it's the baby daddy, baby mama, 2 kids from 2 different dudes. Now those dudes have to pay child support, so that makes them broke. And then the mom has to be a single mom, so that makes her broke, so they can't put money into the system, right? So that doesn't really work out. That's actually just making things worse, because now they need government assistance, they need all this shit, which just takes resources from people like me, which is awesome. You're welcome, by the way. Hope you're having a good time. But think about it this way too. All the schools, think about all the jobs, right? In the next 10 to 20 years, if people keep not having kids, think about all the jobs that have to do with children. Schools, Disneyland, daycare. There ain't gonna be a daycare for you to fucking have. Pediatricians. There's gonna be less of those. Less kids. A lot of jobs. Did I mention Disneyland? Universal? It's a small world after all. So, I don't really know the fucking answer. And if you're living in America like I am, shit's expensive out here. And if you can't even find a decent partner and you're somewhat smart, it kind of doesn't make sense to have a kid. Like, I want to have a kid. I will have a kid one day. Probably. I would hope so. But at the same point, it took me to the age of 34 to really get my shit together. You know, I mean, I guess I've always had my shit kind of together, but like actually together, like as well as I can. I'm not perfect. Lord knows that. But yeah, like now I'm finally ready. I'm like, I'm ready, baby. But do you see a woman in this car? No, you don't. I actually do have a girlfriend now. But that's a risk too. It's not that I don't trust her. It's just a risk. We're all subconsciously like, it's a gamble, baby. Bet it all on black. I don't know. You guys leave your thoughts, really. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's only going to make it harder for the future. I definitely do think it's going to make things worse. The less kids that are born, it's probably not a good thing in the long run. And then you can throw in the overpopulation bullshit, but let me debunk. Ready for we're gonna end on this note? I'm gonna debunk overpopulation for you real fucking quick. Have you ever driven across the country? If the answer is no, I recommend you do it, even though a lot of you guys can't afford to go do it. And I'm not saying I should be going and spending money to do a cross-country trip myself. But I've driven across the country from Florida to California, from Florida to New York, Florida to Kentucky, Florida to here, Florida to there. I've been all over the damn United States. Okay? There's so much open room, it's disgusting. Don't believe me, go look for yourself. So the overpopulation thing is bullshit. All right? We're just forced into cities, and then all this open land is owned by somebody, God knows who. And then who the fuck's going to go start a community in the middle of nowhere? Are you going to do it? No, you're not. I'm not either. That's the funny part. Joke's on us. So, I don't know. Whatever. You guys leave your thoughts. But I think overall, let's end on this note. Final conclusion. It's not looking cool. It's not looking good. You kids shut up back there. Hell of a talk. Check out my main channel if you want. If you want to be featured on this channel, feel free to send me a DM or even on the comments section. I'm going to go enjoy the beach now. The last free thing in America.